as a sergeant major. It looks like you did some White House comm.
I did, yeah.
Did you work for Colonel Black?
At the last part of his time with White House before he retired, I was actually part of his retirement ceremony when I was only a staff sergeant there.
Ah, that's amazing. Yeah, Colonel Black was my first commander. He was great.
Oh, nice, awesome. Yeah, I was there from 11 to 15.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time to be here and share some of your wisdom. Looks like you just recently transitioned out of the military into the civilian workforce.
Yep. Yeah, I did. And yeah, I'm actually in the car right now. I was actually I might have actually accidentally double booked my first. I was at my first VA appointment for podiatry. So and then I'm just here in the parking lot doing the panel for you guys.
Excellent. Well, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit more about your background and then kind of let us know how that transition went for you and any tips and tricks for our fellow transitioning members.
Yeah, sure, happy to. Yeah, so Brian Bravante, retired sergeant major, uh, retired July 1st of this year, and with exactly 20 years of service. Went as the 25 Bravo, your IT guy. Went again, like she said, did a lot of executive IT support to include the UCOM deputy commander's commo team, White House communications, as well as the commo executive commo guy for General Milley when he was the chief of staff of the Army. And then and then after that went and continued to play Army with becoming a first sergeant. Got picked up for sergeant major, went to the academy, class 71, and retired from this global field command out of Scott Air Force Base, and kind of went back to joint and continued to help out on the Air Force side of the house as much as I can, since I didn't have a lot of Army soldiers to deal with. But leader's a leader, right? So whatever I was able to provide on the Air Force side, I did as a leader, and working along with the Chiefs group up there. So learned a lot on the Air Force side. So a lot of the Air Force folks that are here or who reached out to me about Sierra Nevada, thank you for reaching out. As far as like the transition goes, yeah, it was I did my skill bridge with Microsoft through hiring our heroes for 3 months there. Wasn't able to get a job there, but I it's one of those I think is a blessing in disguise, because I've always wanted to come to Reno, Nevada. I figured it's close enough to California, but not in California. I'm originally from California. I actually was born in the Philippines and came to Delano, California when I was only a year old. So, if you haven't heard of Delano, California, if you've heard of Cesar Chavez and the farmers movement, that's where it all started. Or if you've ever bought any Halos mandarins, a little bag of it, that's actually where it's shipped from. So if you ever look at the bag again, go down to the bottom where it has the barcode, it'll say Delano, California. So little tidbit there. But yeah, again, my transition it was scary, just because of the amount of work that actually goes into transitioning, as well as the whole uh, finding a job, interviews, not getting interviews. That was scary. You start to second guess yourself, as I did about the halfway mark. I'm like, what am I doing? Am I doing something wrong here? Do I need to readjust? And I spoke to some people. I spoke to a guy, one of the mentors in Microsoft. He retired veteran as well from the Marines, and he helped me revamp my strategy and getting after some, I guess, that within the Microsoft itself, like talking to people, talking to the team members instead of reaching out to the hiring members. So that was one way, which I did through LinkedIn as well. I started looking further into their kind of did more cyber stalking than I normally did. Um, so with that in mind, one of the things I did do was again more cyber stalking involved. I don't know how many versions of resumes I have. I have so many. Just if using using Copilot, which I had access to, at the time, and I still do have access to Copilot. That helped a lot. If you guys haven't used Copilot yet, on Word, put it up on your Word document, have Copilot off to the side, turn it on, and just have, and then like copy and paste those job descriptions into there and see if it even matches and what's missing, right? Like there was a lot of work involved in trying to get the right resume, trying to get a screening call was just as hard as trying to get an interview. So those were some of the things that I had to deal with, but you know, one of the things that came out of nowhere was I did reach out to a guy out of Sierra Nevada back in October of 24. Yeah, well, October, November of 2024. I was looking to SkillBridge here with Sierra Nevada as well because it was in Reno. Wasn't able to get it, or wasn't able to find anything within the IT world at the time. And now they actually have a SkillBridge for IT support specialists. So that's awesome. But back then they didn't have that. So what I ended up having to do was just go outside, went through Microsoft. But then after Microsoft ended, I reached out to a guy, that same person, and he's like, "Hey, there's this executive IT support. I think you fit well with it." I for me, I assumed it was just a regular IT support, but on the executive side. Come to find out that he goes, "Nah, man, nah, dude, that's like that specific job is actually for the CEO and the chairwoman of the board for the Sierra Nevada Corporation, Fatih and Aaron Osman. So that's their baby. They're a power couple. The chairwoman of the board is Erin Osman. Uh, she's pretty much the one in charge of handling all the whole company, and then the CEO is the husband, Fatih Osman. And those are the two that actually got selected to work for directly. And I think it was my background with having that executive support experience with, working with generals, working for the president, providing that same type of service, that customer success service, or customer service related type of stuff with IT, was able to get me a job. I'm kind of playing it slow right now because this is a very for at least for my position here, it's very delicate because it's the owners. So it's one of those you have to build that trust. So if they just, it's not like in the military where, hey, you're working for this general, go. On this side, it's one of those, hey, if she don't like you, she'll fire you. So, or they'll just let you go or something, right? So we're playing it a little slower than most that what I'm comfortable with. But at the same time, that's one of the things that you guys have to learn is kind of taking a step back, swallow your pride, and get your foot in the door somewhere, right? So right now I'm doing basic IT stuff. I'm learning a lot of a lot of the stuff, the processes that the regular IT guys are doing. If there's any IT guys here, going back to building, re-imaging computers, with Windows 11, taking trouble tickets with ServiceNow. Those are stuff that I used to do back when I was a specialist E4, E5. So one of those things, really take a step back and just and take the time to figure out what you want to do, and me and and again, I just finished somewhat complete with doing an interview with Microsoft as well for an IT manager role too. So I got selected for that. I got tagged in on the loop for that. So I was like, why not take it? I know I got a job, but if it's an interview, take it, right? You never know. Continue to build your network. And I think networking is definitely a big thing to do. Kind of ramble there. I'll take any other questions.
No, I don't think you rambled at all. I think that was actually a great overview of your experience. I see you have a lot of certifications, CISP and CISM and all that. Would you say that your experience in executive support or your certifications played a bigger role in you getting hired?
Yes. They didn't even look at, they didn't even, I wasn't even hired based off of my certifications. It was all based off of my background and experience in executive IT support.
That's
I mean,
good.
it's good to have. Those, I mean, don't say I'm not saying don't get them, but it's still good to have because at the same time you worked for those certifications. So show them off still, you know. Again, I'm taking a step back from leadership. It's been great to be honest with you. Not having to worry about service member issues, DUIs, you know, all that stuff that we do as leaders in the military, having to worry about, like, that stress level has gone way down, and I've been enjoying so far. I mean, I can't grow a beard, so I grew the hair out, so that's why my hair is longer than the one that's on the photo. But yeah, it's been fantastic.
That's awesome. I think we get a question from Cedric.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me, Brian?
Yep, got you.
First
Good
off,
morning.
congratulations on your successful transition outside the military.
Thank you, thank you.
I was just kind of curious. I know you were talking about kind of being humble and, working towards, if you have to image computers again, things that you did when you were a younger E3, 4 in the
Hmm.
military. But how far do you go before it's a little bit where you're like underemployed in a sense? Because I see how much experience you have, and I just kind of and like I want to talk a little bit more about the transition. Like, how was that for you? Like, as far as your emotions and things of that nature, stress levels and things like that when you're thinking about, man, I need to get a job, and like how, I want to know, like, can you talk about that experience, like before you got out of the military, and then, you know, as you were working to um, interview for jobs, and what you were, what kind of things were going through your head?
Oh, great question. Yeah, I got into some feels on that one. Uh, I think it was around my 6 week mark with Microsoft was I had nothing, like zero action, right? Even with internally to Microsoft and externally to Microsoft, I was applying everywhere. About 6 weeks in was nothing, and I talked to my wife, and I was like I was I was going through some emotions there, right? And I wouldn't say depressed, but I was going through some emotions of, like, you know, it's one of those things that we have as military. We're so used to having something set for us, right? Like, right
Right.
there, hey, you're going here, you're gonna do that job, that's what you're gonna do. As you're transitioning, you're kind of like, oh man, I know I can do this job, but I'm not getting selected for it. You know, people um we get told a lot about we were getting told a lot about our experiences. Hey, utilize that. You guys have great experience, great work ethic. You guys are always on time. You guys are all, you know, all the good stuff that why they should hire us veterans, right? But it wasn't showing, right? Which was kind of like, is that just something? Is that just like what they tell us to make us feel good? Or because it wasn't showing. So I was going through some of that pain of, what am I doing wrong here? Is it me? So I had to take a step back, really look at what you want to do and figure out exactly what you want to do, because that's the hard part. Because we can do a lot of things, right? We can do project management. We can do a lot. If you're in logistics, if you're a mechanic, in leadership, your soft skills, talent acquisition. If you were voluntold to be a recruiter, training. There's so much that we can do, right? Janitor, if you wanted to. Um, but what do we really want to do, right? So, um, and then having to really focus on doing your resume, that tailored resume, that's the hard work. That's the work that you have to put in after work, right? Like, if um, similar to when you're working in the military and you're working on your bachelor's or your master's degree, like, after work, that's what you have to do when it comes to your resumes, getting on LinkedIn, practicing uh, your elevator pitch, all that stuff. Like, that is something, and really looking into the job description. Because what I learned too is I got I got called out when I was interviewing with Splunk. The interviewer was like, "Did you read the job description?" I'm like, I kind of, I read it. I was like, "But did you read it?" I was like, "Oh, no, not like that."
Oh
So I
man.
got called out for that. So after that moment, I had to take again, reset, and he was literally asking me questions based off of the duties and responsibilities that were in the job description. So if I had just read the job description and actually line by line, like line by line, wrote stories for each one, like your experiences for each one, so you can talk about every single one of those. So then that became a homework for me. Where before I go and do an interview, I look at the duties and responsibilities of what I'll be doing if I got selected for that job, and I line by line, if they somehow match certain stories, then put them together, right? So you're not having a single story for each one. But if it sounds the same and you can kind of tailor it to get back to it, then tailor it. But that's what I ended up having to do. But again, yeah, it took about 6 weeks. And then on that seventh, eighth week mark is when everything started like traction and it just started kicking in. I got more calls, um, more interviews that we're scheduling. So it was just like, I guess, that beginning phase of just getting started, right? Getting traction. And then once you get that traction, it's gonna go, man. Then after that, you're gonna be like, oh crap, I have a bunch of interviews I gotta get set up for, and they're all different jobs, right? So
Right.
you're like, then you got to figure out like, oh man, do I really want to do that job now? Because after interviewing for one job similar, you didn't like it, so now you're kind of okay, check, checking it off and doing more, doing other things different. So you're always adjusting, and that's one thing that we do in the military. We always adjust, right? We got to adjust fire. So continue to leverage that
Yeah.
experience and do the homework. Like when I say do the homework, do the homework.
Yeah.
It can be some long nights. I'll tell you that
And
much.
what kind of platforms did you use to like post out your resume? Was it the generic kind of like, Indeed, clearance jobs, things like that, or
No, I went straight to the. To be honest, I went straight to
the employer side?
the yeah, the career sites. But what helped me a lot in getting those interviews was just networking.
Okay.
Like like if networking is by far the best tool to get an interview or even just get that screening call. Because that first initial screening call with the recruiter is an interview. So treat that as an interview. I messed up again on my first one. I got so happy I didn't even again, right? And I learned from that mistake. No one
Yeah.
told me about screening calls were an interview. I thought they were just saying, hey, let's see if you're fit. Like you check the block.
Yeah.
Apparently, though that's where you got to get in as well. So, but networking, find out who works there, who can connect you to where, and just get that screening call with that recruiter. That's it. Like if you can get to the recruiter, you don't even bother getting to the hiring manager. Just get to the recruiter is the big. So for me, at least for me, was the
Right.
biggest for me to get the interview through Splunk, Elastic, Apple, Microsoft, like all these guys I interviewed for. Yeah, I didn't get selected for them, but which is fine. I still made it to Reno, which I'm happy about. I'm more
Right.
happy about that than anything else. And I'm getting paid really good as far as the job that I'm doing. So I'm not mad at
Right.
doing my basic IT stuff. I'm like, you guys are paying me really good money for doing this stuff, man. I'm fine with it. I'm not like mad that. And that goes into your second part of like how much can I take of doing this before I figure out if I want to do more. Right now, I'm happy. I don't know. I can't really answer that question because right now
You're still
I'm
feeling it.
I'm
Yeah.
still feeling it, but it's easy work and easy money to the point of, and at the same time, it's still challenging in a way because I'm still utilizing my thinking skills on how critical thinking skills of how to fix these issues that people are having because it's still a thing. Like I'm still learning ServiceNow. That's a thing. Microsoft comes out with a bunch of new things. that's still the thing. So I'm still building my toolkit.
It's awesome. Well, thank you, Brian, for your perspective on
Oh,
things.
thank you for the question.
Yeah, Brian, that was great advice about going through the job description and kind of building stories on your experience to fit the job description. I think we hear a lot about kind of tailoring your resume to fit the job description, but then we've also heard from some of our other guest speakers saying that they think that people just kind of fake it with their resume, trying to tailor it to the job description, and they don't necessarily put a lot of weight in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think actually building that experience out and saying I do fit your job description and here's all the examples. That's amazing. And that actually that's the first time I've heard somebody say that. Um, yeah. So what else would you say like with your experience, because you obviously have a lot of leadership experience being a prior first sergeant, how would you say that translated and how did you kind of capture that?
Uh, I think for now, as far as leadership experiences, like I'm still using that in a way, right, with my manager. For example, you know how we like surveys, right? We love surveys in the military. They they still do surveys in the civilian world. You're not going away with it. But I was able to provide feedback on the current survey that they just finished and about uh, showing and being transparent with the team. Because one of the big things that about surveys that people tend to say is this does this survey doesn't do anything. We don't see any changes. So why would I want to do it? Why is doing a survey going to help the company? Because we don't see any changes happening, right? It's the same thing. We don't believe in it. Or how do we know if it's really truly anonymous? So I provided feedback saying, hey, why don't you guys do this during you guys have all hands, right? Like these big meetings with everyone. I think that's a great time to do it. Show them, be transparent with them that you guys are doing the work to make changes, like the small ones, right? Of and then showcasing it to people, so at least they know, like, oh, they're listening to us. Those are some of the leadership stuff that I've continued to show and provide feedback to my leadership. Because if they didn't know about that, they would have never started, which they actually did on this last all hands that they had. They actually started showing survey feedbacks, and I reached out to my manager. I was like, "Oh, you guys actually listened on my suggestion," and that was a feel good moment for me, and then just knowing that I still had a hand in something, shape, or form in leadership.
Sorry, my mouse got stuck there for a second.
I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, it froze. Um, yeah, so sorry, I have a co-pilot.
yeah, here you."
Yeah, my little one. Um, yeah, so that's great. You guys actually took that feedback in your surveys because yeah, we get the same thing. I know in the Air Force we did the deox and people
Mhm.
always say the same exact thing. You guys don't take this feedback and do anything with it, so why fill it out?
Yep.
So that's good to hear that they actually. Boy, so sorry about that.
It's all right. I got two.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
two kids too. I know. No worries.
She'd normally be napping right now, but she's fighting the power. So baby's making some great points. She is. She's the boss here. Um, so yeah, speaking of family, how is the transition with do you have more family time now? You feel like it's a lot more relaxed?
Yeah, actually, like just getting home. We have dinner, and then we're currently in Reno or Sparks area. I live in the Sparks side. Um, like when I get home, we finish dinner, and then we go walk. We go to the park, walk around the marina, and for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just and I don't have to worry about work. I don't have to worry about, yeah, they give me a work phone, but this is just they don't call me or need anything after work. So it like when I say about like that that relief of that stress of having to take care of your people and making sure work gets done, it's something that I'm able to focus more on family, and even on the weekends. You know, again, that's one of the reasons why I chose Reno is I can go to Lake Tahoe and just enjoy the lake. It's beautiful out there, great weather, um, and it's a great weather here. Like right now, it's 62 degrees outside, like in the middle of summer. So yes, I love Reno. But yeah, but to answer the question, yes, it's having more family time with my kids. At the end of the day, my brain is not. It's more. It's more towards them now rather than having to deal with having to deal with the stress of military type work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, actually it does. That's one thing I looked forward to is retiring was to be able to take more time with the family. And as you can
Mhm.
see, all my kids are still home on summer break. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's busy here, but it's been great because normally I'd be at work and not be around them right now. So I'm loving that part.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what other tips or advice can you give? We have a lot of people trying to get into the IT field that either have experience or their previous career fields and transitioning into IT.
Yeah. For my IT guys, you know, again, like I said earlier, don't if you guys getting a management or leadership role is going to be the hardest positions to get unless you really can network yourself in there. Other than that, a lot of companies tend to hire internally for those manager leader roles, right? I got lucky to even interview for one management level role in Microsoft, and that was through my sponsor. He was able to reach out to the hiring manager, and I was added to the loop, right? And getting considered for an interview was already a big one. So I that was my only management level position that I interviewed for. All the others were individual contributor types. So yeah, for my IT guys, I would say, you know, really think about what you want to do in IT. There's a lot. I didn't realize how much there's a lot. I forget that there was a lot of work to be done on the IT side of the house. With Sierra Nevada, you know, you have your service center, right? That's not the service center has handles all the phone calls. They do the basic triage, and if they can't do it over the phone or remotely, they pass it over to the local IT techs, which is me or my team, the team that I'm with. Um, and you know, and then there's the system admin, server admins. There's so many different types of IT roles out there networking. You know, you want to try and figure out what you actually want to do because we do in the military as an IT guy, we do it all, right? We're a jack of all trades. I can do networking, I can do that, but you get to choose one. You can only choose one coming out. So I would say really figure out what exactly is your passion. Is it networking? Is it being in a server or working on servers? Is it being hands-on technical? Um, or so and just with that in mind, don't don't knock the level one, level two IT techs that you see, right? IT technicians, IT specialists on jobs on like Indeed or whatever, like on job posts. Like really look, right? What is this? IT support specialist with Cedric, right? Um, get those positions, right? Like my position, they created a new one. It's actually a IT tech level 5, but they created a new role for me for the exec IT support. Um, so because it's something new that they're starting to have. Because right now the current guy, or it's two of us, his duty title is still IT tech level 5. So it's different, right? But again, yeah, get certs if you want to. I think they show value, but at the same time, really, it's all about that interview and showing your experience in that specific field and what you can do for the company, right? And show that impact, similar to writing evals. Always show that impact. Give me the so what. Because if you just say I did networking, okay, cool, I did networking too. So what, right? What makes you better than the people that they're interviewing? So really bring out that star algorithm of when you're doing your interviews for IT roles. Um, and yeah, cert, there's the and then as well as depending on where you want to go. If you're gonna go to Splunk, Elastic, Microsoft, Cisco, whatever, any of these big companies, look at those certifications, their specific certifications, even if it's the fundamentals, right? Get after those. That shows that it shows to the interviewer that you're showing commitment to that company already, right? Like you're investing your time to be part of that, and that shows, right? That at the end of the day, it depends on the hiring manager and if they choose you, if they like you or not, right? It's all about being not only being fit for the role, but being fit for culture. So look at the culture of the job, is the culture of the. I'm sure you guys heard this as well. You know, read the values of the company, the culture of the company. Talk to the people that's internally to that company. Reach out to the veterans. If you guys haven't done those LinkedIn classes on um on how to search for people or how they even view how recruiters see folks in LinkedIn, get after those classes as well, if you haven't had those, because those are valuable.
That's good stuff. We got a couple more questions. Daryl?
Okay, my bad. I had to figure out how to unlock my phone. So you're totally right. Like, me searching for a job, I did have one job interview for like my dream company, which is SAIC,
Oh, okay.
and um, I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. The hiring manager liked me. He was like, "Oh man, like we really need you on the team." But like I said, it's been 2 weeks. I haven't heard anything, and I did call back the recruiter, and they were like, "Oh, we still have two more people to interview." So I'm like,
Yep.
"Is there a certain amount of people they got to interview before they release the job?" I don't know how it works in the civilian world, but like you said, there's so many jobs out there. Like I'm trying to figure out, do I want to do cybersecurity? Like I even reached out to SAIC. They just found me on LinkedIn and they hit me up. So it's like I want to do cybersecurity, but this job is network engineering. I'm like I didn't even know that was part of my title, like network engineering. I'm like, I don't
Mm.
know. It's overwhelming how much stuff is out here, and at the same time, like, how did you? Well, you say you network into your job. Like, how did you like say, you know what, this is what I want to do, and this is where I want to stay?
So yeah, so yes, the whole process is can be daunting. It can be it's scary because you're like, what's going on, guys? You guys, you told me you liked me. What's happening, right? Um, every I'm gonna be I'm always being I love being truthful and always being real. And hiring managers will say that to everybody, right? But they still have to hire. They still got to interview everyone. They still got to do everything, and at the same time, they actually have to get final approval from their manager, right? Depending on where you're at, I think. But yes, they still got to interview everyone, regardless if you might have been the first one in the shoot in the loop, and he said he liked you, but at the same time, it's like I still got to interview more, right? Those are some of the things that you should for everyone as well. Like ask that question, ask that question during the interview process at the end, right? That's normally my last question that I always ask before the ending of the interview is, so what's the timeline here, what when can I expect to hear something back? That's always my last question, because I don't want that to be the first one, right? It's you gotta figure out, it's a game. You got to be tactful in how you lay out your questions at the end. So that's my last question I always ask is, like, what's the expected timeline? When do I expect to hear back if I got it or not? Then, because then they'll tell you, well, I still got to interview one or two more. I still got to interview a couple more people, I'll let you know. We should be you should get something back about within two weeks. If not, contact the recruiter to get an update, right? That's normally what they'll tell you. It's what I hear all the time for me. Um uh what was the other question again? The other part, what was it? Sorry.
Well, you answered most of my questions. It's just the
Oh,
it's
the
the waiting
choosing.
part.
Yeah, it's okay. Oh, and then the choosing of what you want to do. Yes, that's gonna be the hardest decision you're ever going to make in this process. The hardest decision, I'm gonna say, because cybersecurity, information security, information systems, information technology, there's so much out there. And it's one of those, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. What do you really want to do? Right? What is something, what do you have passionate? What are you passionate for? Right? And uh I think one thing to think about as well is when you're thinking about that piece is timing, right? And are you willing to wait for sake over another company who's already said, hey, we'll take you, here's the offer letter, right? Like, though, that's that risk that you have to take into account when making your decision. Because I had the same thing. SNC, they had I finished all my interviews and I was waiting for 5 weeks until they made the decision because the chairwoman of the board was the one that made the final call. And they were waiting for her. I was like, well, until I get that, it's like, I get it, you guys like me, but if she doesn't like me, if she says no for some reason, even though I never interviewed with her, if she says no, I'm out of the job, right? Like, so during that process, I'm still interviewing, I'm still applying. I interviewed for Splunk. I called Splunk and um, I was like, hey, look, hey, am I even on the? They gave me the offer letter. SNC gave me the offer letter, and so I called Splunk like, hey, am I even in the top two of the five that you interviewed for this role? And because if I'm not even in the top two, that made my decision to go with SNC, right? So that was it. That was my final decision because they're about the price point was about the same. So that's where I kind of made my decision of going with SNC when Splunk said, yeah, you're not even in the top two. You're top three or top four, whatever, and or maybe even five. I'm like, okay, too easy. Thank you for the opportunity. We're going SNC. So I called my buddy who actually got me the interview through SNC, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I'm not even in the top two." He was like, What the heck?" I thought, like, I told him about, he was really vouching for me. Um, so I don't know what happened. I'm sure they went with the more internal person that had more experience in that role, which is fine too, right? That's what we compete for. But again, blessing in disguise. I was able to get SNC here in Reno. I'm happy about it. So that's where I made my decision in going this route. And again, we're not locked into this. I'm not locked into this role, right? Like, that's the best part about being retired or as a civilian is if you don't like it, continue to interview, continue to put in your application. Like I was able to get in for this 8 o'clock time because I don't start work till 9. So I'm fine, right?
Thank you.
All right, perfect. We have another question from Michael.
Yeah, hi Brian, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So there's a lot of folks on this in this cohort here that are making a radical pivot from whatever they were doing in the military to IT, cyber. Um, what is your recommendation for folks that are trying to build experience and market their experience on their resumes and in these interviews?
Ooh, I yeah. Other than the resume and LinkedIn, that's the best way to market and also networking, right? And to show experience, yeah, I think showing that experience is, again, that goes back to the networking piece of trying to get that, getting to that recruiter, getting to that screening call to show them that you have the experience, right? That, when I say networking is key, that's the key to getting to that interview, because your paper, the resume can only show so much, right? And you don't have to, when you talk about your stories, about your experiences, don't list off what's on the resume, right? Talk about something else. Show them that what's not on the resume, that way they can be like, oh, that was a good one, right? For me, like, one of the ones that popped up was that my manager likes to, every time he introduces me to someone, he's like, hey, tell them about your story about what you did. I'm like, sure. And it was a time where I was in Turkey, in Ankara, Turkey, during a TDY. I was supporting Admiral, um, who was, oh no, General Gardner at the time, when I was in Germany. I was up in the top of the Sheraton trying to download his emails through a data off of a BGAN, right? That critical thinking, getting it done, and it was still 3 in the morning. I was like just waiting, 56K modem, and just waiting, waiting for the emails, those emails, and it was through Zipper, and it was like 3 megs of PowerPoint and attachments. It's like, just waiting and sitting there all night till 3 in the morning till it was all downloaded for the next day. So those are those types of experiences that you want to show, that during those interview that you want to highlight more into. That's how you market yourself. Even if you're not fit for that role, the hiring manager might even recommend you for a different role, but in the same space, that aligns better with your experience, right? It might not be a management level role. I'm gonna, but at least it's another role that you can venture off to, that speaks more to and that way he can get you another interview, right? That's all it is. Just keep getting as much interviews and get some good feedback interviews. Don't go to an interview and get a bad feedback, because they're not going to want to see you again. So really show up and show out during that interview, so that way when the interview and the feedbacks are part of your profile, at least with Microsoft, it's part of your profile. The same thing with Splunk. They maintain those feedbacks, and hiring managers can see those. So if they say, hey, like for example, with Microsoft, they have like Talent Plus and Hire, right? Those are the two you want to get, not forgot the one that you don't want to get. Really, it's like needs improvement or something, right? uh so it's like pretty much like in your evals, right, where you want to, for my Air Force guys, you're getting the number 1 strat, number 2 strats. For my Navy guys, if you get the early promote, early promote, and what was that? Most promote, what, I forget the other one. But yeah, the same thing for my Army guys, right? You got your most qualified and highly qualified. But you got to enumerate, right? That's how they do it as well in the civilian world, where they'll put those feedbacks, and there you go. Must promote now. That one must promote. And so those are the things that they put, right? So leaving Microsoft during that SkillBridge time, I was able to get two higher and 1 Talent Plus feedbacks. So those are good feedbacks, meaning I was like it was a photo finish of getting the job, right? It was just that Talent Plus is the one that was the one that I didn't get the job for. So I got higher Talent Plus, which means it's still good. If I got the 3rd higher, I would have gotten the job, right? So, but those are the things I would say to market yourself. is just continue to network, continue to talk to people, and have them remember you and continue to maintain contact. Don't just say, hey, how's it going on LinkedIn, and then don't talk to that person ever again. Like, it's weird. It's something different, but think about that. Those people, it's very transactional, but don't make it transactional. Build a relationship with these people.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate the feedback. Definitely building rapport, I think, is it sounds easy. I do it. I do it for my job now as an investigator. But yeah, I think when you're trying to build that very individualized personal rapport for your benefit, I think it comes off a little bit more challenging. But yeah, I appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic because trying to build a relationship and not make it sound too transactional.
Oh yeah.
It's hard. You know, it's very hard. So for my folks that are very for my the folks that are, it's very hard to talk to people, the introverts, or if you've done disc before, the S and the C's is going to be more difficult for them. But at the same time, like, you once you meet that person and you can really talk, because you can talk shop, right? You guys can talk shop. Don't get you don't have to get too personal, but you can talk shop, right? And exchange ideas, without saying, hey, can you find me a job? That's not what you're asking for, right? You just don't ask for, can you find me a job? Ask for, is there anyone else can I talk to? Do you recommend I reach out to anybody else? Do you recommend I do this? And just then go back to them again. Hey, I just got an interview based off of your recommendation, and let them know, right? Like, reach out to them and let them know about all the good stuff that you're doing. And that way they know. Even though if they, hey, I didn't get the job, like, oh, it's all good. Let's keep shooting for it, right? Let's keep trying. Like, my sponsor in Microsoft, I'm still reaching out to him, letting him know, like, hey, how's everything going? I read articles about Microsoft going through a layoff. Are you guys okay? Are you marked safe? Right? Like,
Yeah.
so those type of things is just maintain their connection and their relationship, and without having to be transactional. Like, you never ask for a job. Put it that way. Just don't say, can you find me a job? Can you help me look for a job? That's it. Or the best thing to ask for is like, hey, would you able to help me get in contact for this who for this role that I found on the career site? Would you be able to find out who I can talk to about it? Or can you tell me more about this role? Or can you point me in the right direction of who can tell me more about the role? Right? That's it. That's all you're doing.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you.
And no problem.
All right, Jesse, you have a question?
Oh, hey. Yeah. Thanks, Brian, for coming to talk to us. Uh, Me, like everybody else here, I'm trying to pivot into IT. So what I've been trying to do is look into defense contracting and possible DoD positions,
Okay.
and in like cybersecurity. And I was wondering if you had any experience with that, and if you have any recommendations or anything to look out for.
Are you trying to go, when you say DoD, meaning like a GS position or a GG position? Or are you
Yeah,
trying to go
either
commercial?
a GS, yeah, either a GS position or a contractor position.
So if you're going GG, I think the DoD is going more toward GG now on the GG 2210s, I believe is where they're moving to. I think GS is somewhat not going away, but they're on the IT side and cyber side, they're going more towards GG. If you're going that route, I would say if you don't have Security Plus, get it, because that is a must on the DoD side. Like, you got to have Security Plus.
Yeah, yeah, totally working on that right now.
On the commercial side, I don't need Security Plus here. Like, they didn't even bother. They don't. When I got my administrative rights, they didn't even ask for any of my certifications. They just gave me. I just put in a ticket to say I need admin rights because it's part of my job, and they gave it to me. Um,
They didn't do the CBT, man.
uh, that's it. And if you're going contract, if you're gonna go on the contracting side to be in a defense for the DoD, same thing, right? It's the same. It's the same thing. They still it'll be part of your what was it, PWS, I think what it's called. Perform your work statement, whatever it is. I forgot the name. Anyways, it's gonna be required that you get it. It's a condition you got to meet within like the first 6 months of being in a contracting position for the DoD. Is you got to have Security Plus within that 6 months. So that's just something to keep an eye on as well, so on needing Security Plus. But if you're new to IT, again, be ready for uh, be ready for a pay cut from, I don't know what your rank is right now, but if you're if you're getting good money right now through the military and you're wanting to pivot to IT in the very beginning, you're going to take probably a pay cut. But at the same time, if you're retiring, that's not really going to be a big deal, because getting your retirement, and if you get definitely go towards your VA disability, um, that's what's going to help you kind of fill that gap for the time being until you can build yourself. Because once they see that you do have leadership position, a leadership role, or any type of thing, you can kind of venture out now, right? Like into something more. But as far as getting into the IT side, you will have to swallow your pride, be humble, and learn like the rest of the guys, and really be part of the team and help the team, and just do the work,
Mhm.
right? Do the work, be a sponge, learn how do I do this. I'm brand new, guys. Remember, I'm new. Teach me. And I'm gonna get after this. So that's
Yeah, totally. I mean, after being in the military, I'm sure a lot of people agree with me. I don't want any position of leadership or or anything like that, man.
yeah,
I
it's great.
I just want to work, get paid, and go home, man. That's all I care about.
There you go, right? And if that's not and if that's not a big thing for you, then hey, you're gonna be a happy man. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
that's what I'm saying. I
you're
can't
gonna
wait.
be a happy man. You will, and it's to each their own, right? Like what, depending on where you live, what type of lifestyle you want to, the type of lifestyle you want to have, the family, all of that plays into account, which is part of the stress of transitioning as well. Of like, oh my goodness, what what do I do here? Like, how do I ensure I maintain the same lifestyle or better, for my family or for myself for the meantime until I pick up, right? Again, this is just your first job, right? So you can always find a better job somewhere, or get a higher position and get paid more if you want to. Like, you're just trying to get a feeler out there to see what you
Yeah.
really, really want to do. Like, I can see myself doing this job for maybe like a couple more months, like until I get like, all right, guys, I'm getting a little frustrated here. I need to fix some stuff, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's just ingrained in us, right? Like, we want to fix processes. We want to make the organization better. We go through an organization thinking we're there for 2 to 3 years. When now it's like, well, I'm here for a long time. Well, at least I need to slow down, or I want to make it a career to stay here. So again, right, there's a lot of things to go through in your head of what to make decisions. When the military's always made that decision for you. Now it's you making the decision. You make that call. We are free, guys. I'm telling you, it's great. It's great out here once you figure it out, it's great. But during this process is where like this is where a lot of stress comes from.
Yeah,
But it will
totally.
happen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it'll happen, guys. Trust me. Don't it'll come through when it comes through. Timing is everything. So just keep, as long as you feel like you're making an effort and you're grinding to that same, giving that same amount of effort the way you would go for promotion, for your exams, your test, or for a board, do that same thing for the same way. Take it as that same, take that same way, or take that same mentality in the civilian world.
Yeah, you got it, man. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, Brian, I know we're running up on the clock. Do you have time for one more quick question from Kenneth?
Sure.
All right, go ahead, Kenneth.
Hey, Brian, first thing I want to say is thank you so much for your time. I'm a career IT guy as well. So I'm retiring as an E8. So just hearing your perspective on, possibly having to take the step back and things of that nature means a lot. I actually enjoyed the side of actually leading and supervising and that type of stuff. So I'm trying to figure out what type of roles should I be, I guess, shooting for. Essentially, I was looking at your LinkedIn. You got a lot of this. You got a lot of the certifications, a lot of the degrees and stuff, just like I did coming out. Just because you were always betting yourself the same. So just trying to figure out like what should I be looking for essentially.
If you're trying to stay in the IT side, yeah, look for IT manager roles. If you're trying to be in the leadership side of the house, there's IT program managers out there too. If you want to get into that, again, that's more for project management programs. But yeah, like it's like I said, it's gonna be hard. I don't want to get your hopes. Like I don't want to bring down any, like I don't want to be
Oh
a
yeah.
party pooper here or anything. But just real talk, right? It's it's hard to get these management roles because these guys have been in there for 20+ years.
Yeah.
Right? Just like the GS and SESs that are in the DoD, they've been there for a long time, and it's gonna be a while before that position is open for you to get.
Well, I'm in Vegas. I'm in the Vegas area, so there's a
There you
bunch
go.
of them open. It's just not really getting the hits. I know you were talking about, 8,
Yes.
9, 10 week marks, and I was like, all right, cool. It's only been 3 for me, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
just working on that resume and things of that nature.
Yeah, and if you're looking locally, man, like reach out to people on LinkedIn. Have coffee time with them. If you're
Oh yeah.
able to be there in person, you already have a step ahead of most people if you can get to them in person, right? Even the co-workers that work for that manager or that team, talk to them. Have them vouch for you as well. Hey, boss, I talked to this one guy. We had coffee, and he put in I think you should give him a chance. Here's his he submitted his resume in the career portal. We should pull it up, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest things in Microsoft, was try to get the team to vouch for you, to get to go above the stack of hundreds, the stack of thousands of applications and resumes they got to go through, to pull yours out from that and put it up top so that they can at least review it and see and get you in line for an interview or that screening call with the recruiter, right? That's the big takeaway that you got, as for everyone. Like if you guys can get that to the team, like when I mean cyber stock if you need to. Try to find people in that team. Like getting to the hiring manager is great and all to get you noticed, but the people that you want to get to are the team members, and the team members is going to help you even more to say that you are fit for the culture and I want to work with this guy. I want this guy in our team. That's what you want. That's what you want them to say to the hiring manager.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Brian, so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate you jumping on. I know you got to get off to work, and we got another guest speaker coming in. So
all right.
Thank you again.
And one last thing, guys. I couldn't keep up with all the chats. I know there's a few saying they want to connect. Yeah, please connect with me on LinkedIn. More than happy to help as much as I can through the whole process. Please reach out. And so again, thank you guys. And what I like to say, keep grinding and keep inspiring. Okay. So thank you. Have a great day.